Mr. President, I rise today with anger and frustration, not just as a legislator, but as a Filipino taxpayer. Because what I heard in the privileged speech of our colleague, Senator Lacson, is nothing short of a national disgrace. Ginoong Pangulo, ito po ay garapalan at sistematikong pandarambong harap-harapan. Habang ang mga bata ay hindi makapasok sa eskwela at mga manggagawa late sa trabaho dahil sa baha ang kalsada, may mga opisyal at kontratista na nagbubunyi sa kanilang mansyon. Now, will a distinguished gentleman from Cavite yield to some direct and very serious question?
Willingly to the distinguished gentleman from Palawan and the Republic of the Philippines.
Ang una ko pong katanungan, Mr. President, ang pag-i-insert po ba sa NEP o ika nga sa BICAM, kaya bang gawin ito ng isang ordinaryong mambabatas o kinakailangan niyang ika nga maging opisyal o may kataasang katungkulan bilang mambabatas, Mr. President?
Every legislator, Mr. President, is entitled to introduce amendments. No? Hindi natin mapipigil because all of us, ako mismo, nag-amend po ako, nagsasubmit ako ng amendments. When we had this discussion, I had this discussion with the chairman of the Finance Committee, and right away, I understood where he was coming from when he was reluctant during my interpellation to accept my supposed amendments na i-identify natin yung mga proponents ng mga amendments. When we had this one-on-one talk or discussion, paano naman Senping, sabi niya, marami tayo, may mga kasamahan naman tayo dyan, mahilig lang magpadagdag, hindi naman naghahanap kung saan kukunin yung pandagdag. And siyempre, ako tagahanap noon, being the chairman, magagalit naman sa akin yung mga agencies na binawasan ko para idagdag doon sa mga advocacies, doon sa mga proposed amendments ng ating mga kasamahan. And that's the reason why I counter-proposed to him na okay, accepted, pero baka pwedeng, pag nakita ko may umusbong sa isang agency, pwede ko bang tanongin sa iyo kung sino yung responsible na nagpadagdag sa isang agency? And he agreed. You know? And that was good enough for me because I thought at the time that the outcome would be the same. No? Na ang importante, Mr. President, if something goes wrong with the implementation of the project at na-trace back natin do sa legislator, congressman man o senador, na siya yung nag-propose, somehow, meron siyang shared responsibility to see to it that the implementation of the project na dinagdagan niya ng pondo, maayos. But, if we don't have the mechanism to identify or to backtrack and trace back to the proponent or proponents of the amendments, then wala, malakas ang loob. Imagine, Mr. President, punta tayo sa Nauhan, Oriental Mindoro. No, kitang-kita na natin, hindi ko nga binanggit yung pangalan niya because I didn't want to mention any name of any legislator. But, initially, when I was discussing with my staff, sabi ko, i-blur na lang natin yung pangalan. No, kasi nag-iisa yung mame-mention. But the day before I delivered the speech, sabi ko, teka muna, bakit ba tayo magko-cover up sa kanya? Siya naman ang umaamin. Nakalagay, funded by his office. Tapos nakalagay doon, congressional allocation, accomplishment report. And then when he was interviewed on the same day or the following day after my privilege speech, wala akong alam dyan. No? But I also pointed out in my privilege speech na sa NEP, 810 million lang yung nandun eh. Pero nangyari, pagdating ng GAA, naging 1.9 billion. So, sino ngayon nagpasok ng 1.1 billion? Worse, Mr. President, hindi pa sa regular budget kinuha. Kinuha niya from the Special Purpose Fund, from the unprogrammed appropriations, which is under the Special Purpose Fund. How can you, ngayon lang ako nakarinig na from the regular budget, nag-realign papunta sa unprogrammed appropriations and vice versa. Hindi po nangyayari because yung regular budget, ito yung items in the GAA na talagang ito yung nakakalat sa mga implementing agencies. Now, on program appropriations under the Special Purpose Fund, ang tawag po dito, standby fund, augmentation. Pag kinapos ang pera sa regular budget, huhugot doon sa program appropriations. And there are requirements. Hindi ganun kasimple. Kailangan merong excess revenue collection or merong bagong revenue measure o kaya may approved loan. Napakahirap pong i-access. Kaya this will be one of the questions that I will raise before the DBCC to ask DBM paano na nakapag-allocate, nakapag-release ng SARO sa isang proyekto na hinugot yung pera from the program fund. Marami po tayong dapat i-correct, Mr. President, kasi ang pagkaalam ko sa budget natin, tatlo po yan eh. Regular budget, Special Purpose Fund, and automatic appropriations. Now, when will we stop? Baka mamaya pati automatic appropriations i-realign na rin.
Okay. Mr. President, sa inyong pong nakaraan na privilege speech, nabanggit po ninyo ang paggamit nga ng unprogrammed funds for flood control projects. Maaari niyo po bang ipaliwanag for the record paano itong mga pondo na ito na na-access at nagagamit despite their nature as one program, Mr. President?
Hindi ko pa maipapaliwanag yan kasi mahirap pong gawin yan eh. Ang pwede magpaliwanag dyan, DBM. Paano na-access yung unprogrammed appropriations para i-allocate sa flood control project. Ang masama, substandard pa.
Sa inyo pong research, Mr. President, were there instances where unprogrammed funds used to finance projects that turn out to be anomalous, incomplete, or even non-existent?
Yes, Mr. President. Doon nga, sa case study namin sa Oriental Mindoro, yung 1.1 billion na nanggaling sa unprogrammed appropriations, yung iba doon nahugot para gawin yung isang proyekto na substandard. Kaya nga tigas ng katatanggi yung congressman eh, na hindi akin yan. After owning up, no, by way of billboards, banners, even on Facebook, na siya mismo yung nag-post, na ako yung nag-allocate, talagang ano, sabi ko nga, mapag-angking congressman. Now, it's very easy to deny na siya yung responsible sa realignment or sa insertion because hindi mo matitrace eh, walang record. Sa House kasi, di ba, sabi nga ni Congressman Toby Tiangco, small committee. No? Isasabit sa small committee, and then bahala na, wala nakakaalam, walang record. Even in our case in the Senate, di ba ang practice natin, magko-caucus tayo, and then the chairman or chairperson will just ask the individual members, magsubmit na kayo ng individual amendments. I understand the predicament of the chairman, Mr. President, because if we tackle everything on the floor, hindi tayo matatapos. Kaya ginagawa na lang, for exigency, magsubmit na lang kayo ng written amendments. But, Mr. President, sana man lang, alam natin kung sino yung nag-submit ng written amendments. Kasi meron daw tayong kasama rito, magdadagdag sa isang department ng 5 billion. Wala namang kasama kung saan kukunin. I think we should be responsible enough na pag nagdagdag tayo sa isang department, sa isang agency, tayo na rin ang humugot kung saan kukunin. Para kumpleto, kasi zero sum yan, Mr. President. Para bang plus minus, we will end up with the same sum, total. Kasi we cannot increase the budget. We can only reduce or maintain the total, the net total of the items or the funds for that particular GAA.
Mr. President, you also mentioned coded budget in Bulacan First District. There were 28 projects all pegged in 77.199 million. Sa dinami-dami po ng ahensyang naghimay-himay ng budget, bakit po nakalusot? Bakit ngayon lang natin ito nakita? Bakit tila hinayaan natin na mangyari ito, Mr. President?
The same question lingers in my mind, Mr. President. Paano nangyari? I cannot answer your question, Mr. President.
Mr. President, sa darating po na budget deliberation, paano po ito dapat bantayan, lalo na ng mga parte ng inyo pong grupo ng minorya?
Well, sa akin, one good deterrent is to identify the proponents of the amendments or insertions. Malaking deterrent po yun. Kasi sa ngayon, malalakas ang loob na mag-insert in the billions or tens of billions of pesos kasi alam nila hindi naman sila ma-identify eh. But if they know that the records would show kung sino yung mga nag-introduce ng amendments or insertions, then that's a good deterrent. Hindi lang yun, Mr. President. Sabi ko nga kanina, there will be a shared responsibility on the part of the proponent or proponents to really monitor yung implementation ng mga proyekto na sila mismo yung responsible for the insertion.
Mr. President, to what extent do members of Congress or local officials have discretion or influence in identifying flood control projects in their areas, Mr. President?
There should be no discretion, Mr. President. Dapat ito nakapasok lahat do sa local development plans being submitted all the way up, from the Barangay Development Council to the municipal or city, to the provincial, and eventually to the regional development councils. You know, I'm glad that the President issued Executive Order number 82, enhancing or strengthening the regional development councils. And I hope maging active talaga yung mga regional development councils, yung mga local development councils in the crafting of the National Expenditure Program. Ang problema, the timing is off. No? I heard from most governors na while the budget call happens sometime in February, March, April, prior to the zone of the President, kasi within 30 days, kailangang may sabit na yung NEP sa House of Representatives. The problem is, hindi pa tapos yung mga regional development councils. Late na sila. So hindi na sila makakahabol sa budget call. I think DBM or the DBCC, Development Budget Coordination Committee, should take a second look do sa timing or the pacing of the budget process. Mauna sana dapat yung pag-submit ng mga regional development councils. Anyway, members din naman doon yung mga regional directors ng national agencies along with the governors. Dapat mauna sila bago mag-budget call. Na sa ganun, nakasynchronize yung mga needs and priorities ng mga local government units doon sa ipiprepare na National Expenditure Program or the President's budget.
Pangulo, nabanggit din po ninyo sa inyong nakaraang privilege speech na may mga contractors tulad ng Darcy and Anna Builders, Wawaw Builders, that are repeatedly implicated in fake or recycled projects that are so-called ghost or guni-guni projects. Bakit po nangyayari ito? Ano po ba, meron po bang pamamaraan, Mr. President, na maiwasan na ito sa susunod, na ito po'y matanggalan na lisensya, na ito po'y makasuhan para hindi na po umulit pa?
Rightly so, Mr. President. We really should run after these people, But, of course, we also have to rectify yung mga flaws sa ating sistema sa gobyerno rin. Because it is the PICAB that issues accreditation, even to agencies na nabanggit na nga ni Minority Leader kanina, na may kaso na sa Court of Tax Appeals. Nire-renew pa yung accreditation. Tapos single A lang yung ang categorization, bibigyan mo ng pagkalakalaking proyekto. So these are things that we should tackle when the Blue Ribbon Committee resumes its next hearing. We should raise this issue with PICAB, with DPWH, with all the agencies that should clarify these matters.
Mr. President, I have last two questions. Would the good gentleman, the former chief of the Philippine National Police, that the existing or that the specific gaps or loopholes in the current accountability chain from project design to fund release to monitoring allow corruption and inefficiency to persist unchecked?
We should not allow, Mr. President. And we have this mandate of oversight. Because pag nagpasa tayo ng batas, our duty doesn't stop there. We should monitor, we should exercise our oversight function as members of the Senate, as members of Congress, to see to it that the law that we passed are properly implemented. In this case, the General Appropriations Act.
Mr. President, would you agree to have an independent third-party inspection of projects to detect ghost projects or substandard construction in real time? Kasi po, may sabwatan na ang DPWH at ang COA. So, sang-ayon po ba kayo na magkaroon ng third-party inspection?
Sangayon po ako, Mr. President. Distinguished gentleman from Palawan.
Regarding calls for independent audit investigation, would you support including local community-led monitoring or citizen reporting platforms to add another layer of oversight, Mr. President?
I agree, Mr. President.
Finally po, Mr. President, would you happen to know ang contractor na kamag-anak po ng isang COA official or other government agencies?
Alam po natin lahat yan, Mr. President.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. President. Now I yield the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Tulfo, Majority Leader.